set of minutes from second meeting in August. Thoughts? I saw nothing.
It looked okay to me, so I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to schedule reports tonight. The first one will be from Frank Kitco, our zoning inspector.
Very short, gentlemen, you should all have a copy of activity for August. We processed 8 applications. One of them, which is a denial, which will ultimately result in a Board of Appeals meeting either for variance or conditional use. I will say we've spent quite a bit of time in this, and you guys may get a call on this, and John, you may get a call too. It seems we're having some issues in some subdivisions with multiple drones being flown and people feeling that their privacy is being invaded by these drones. They have called the sheriff, but they feel that this organized group that's flying these drones have a spy in the sky, and so when the drones picks up the sheriff, then they all get up to 400 feet or whatever it is, and the sheriff can't do anything. So you guys may get some calls. We filled it a couple calls, and Jane said that one in particular, a couple said that there are sheriff's reports and everything, but zoning wise, I don't believe there's anything I can do, at all. We're gonna run it by Kristen and get her thoughts if she felt there was anything we could do, but I don't see anything,
Is this a club?
It could be a club, I don't know, I just know that,
Catching them's really hard. It seems like they know you're coming and they disappear.
right,
There was a South Park episode.
that's what they say, that's what they say there's multiple, like 4 or 6 of them flying, and some of them are doing the invading, almost to the point of spying through windows, and some of them are high enough and far enough that they can see that the sheriff is coming, and if the sheriff comes, they get up above, they gotta be a certain height, right, Chad? And then the sheriff can't do anything. So
Now, I heard someone mention, I think it was Tom Jones, that you would shoot them down, which also was my first thought.
Right.
You want to speak to that, the law against that?
that would be against the law, yes.
It would be a good idea anyhow. 'Cause
Right.
You don't know where you're going to be shooting towards.
Well, if you're in a subdivision, yeah, you gotta know your target.
Right, yeah.
Yes. But if I've got a drone looking in my 10-year-old daughter's window,
Yeah.
you know.
I would think if we got enough complaints, maybe the sheriff could use their drone to hunt them down.
Right.
South Park.
Well, that's something, like I said, it's relatively, in the last week or two, this is all that's been
A
coming.
lot of this becomes a FAA issue, right? With the licensing and
Yeah, but then again, getting them out.
you're not gonna get
to do
the
anything
FAA
about
to come out
it.
here over half dozen.
They gotta see it or have some way of recording it to do something about it.
Yeah.
Guess I'll have to change my mode of sunbathing.
But, so anyway, I'm making you aware that you guys may have, if you haven't already, you may receive some calls,
So the answer is, right now, there's nothing we can do about
nothing
it.
that we, as
You
a
take it out with a
township,
shotgun.
can do. I don't.
He just said no.
No, if you shoot them down, that's not a good thing.
My suggestion would be for them to video them if they can, and
Right,
document it, and then if something comes up, you can use that information against them.
right.
I still like the shotgun idea.
It's very boring at my house, that's not gonna go to my house.
Well, the one particular instance involves teenage girls, so
I'm sure.
just so you be aware. Anyway, but, well, that's one of the issues we've been people that I'm calling on. Other than that, everything's going pretty smooth. The zoning committee, we did pass some things on to the zoning commission. I don't know if you were aware, we had a request for a personal burial on, let's see, Mr. McCune decides he wants to be buried on his property. That is illegal by Ohio law, that you could, or any one of us could be buried on our own private property and everything. We do have one, and I think we're going to get another one. We have one came already into the zoning
How
board
would
of appeals.
how would that react to your resale value of your
Well,
home?
the thing is, it's
Definitely wouldn't help, especially if you got postage
it's
stamp.
legal, but, there are some things that we feel, and, I mean, it has to be done in the proper manner, but, some things to protect
There's mechanisms.
down the road is, we're suggesting that a deed restriction be put on the parcel forevermore, documenting that this is there so that 100 years from now, but anyway, we have one, and I believe we're going to get a second one.
My wife always said she was gonna bury me under the blueberries next to the cat, so I guess.
So anyway, but it is, under Ohio law, it is legal, so, And
This
as
is,
far as,
Frank, just not to interrupt, but this is how, like, Troy ended up with, I think they have maybe 7 cemeteries out there, because there were a lot of little family plots
Yeah, could
that in
be.
time get turned over to township for
but they
maintenance.
don't, legally, they don't even have to be in a vault. I don't even know if they even have to be in a casket by law, in the state of Ohio.
Frank, is there a minimum acreage requirement with that?
Pardon?
Is there a minimum acreage required with that?
Not by law, not by the state law, no.
It could be created.
So anyway, we asked Mr. Dietrich to, since he's been working on and off with the zoning commission, to look into a little bit. So we're gonna put some things in the zoning, and take it to the zoning commission and let them look at it as far as maybe creating a private family cemetery type of thing. Because like I say, it is legal, and we do have one resident that will be buried when he passes away, will be buried on his property. And it's within a mile of this building, I will tell you that, so.
Zoning may want to put in something about the road right away, just make Courtney's life a little easier in the future.
Yeah.
This meeting is taking an extremely strange turn.
I'm not going to say anymore, we started it.
I'm a little scared what you're
Yeah,
gonna
you started with that.
Jeez.
And I'm not saying anymore, that's it, that's all I have.
All right, any questions for Frank regarding zoning?
Oh, crap.
Emmerich Gordon, our road superintendent, is here.
Okay. Auburn Township Road Department report, August 2023. The resurfacing of Bridge Creek Trail, Longview Trail, Frostwood Drive, Sanctuary Drive, and Golden Pond were completed, and the punch list items were satisfied. The township did go and do 2 mailboxes on our own that we did replace in Bridge Creek Trail. Just want to let you guys know that. They weren't on the punch list, but I know one was gotten during the winter, and the guy had put a signpost on it to support it. We did replace that for him. We should be seeing pay come through those pretty soon here. I'm pretty sure that Tim got a hold of me about that. Crack seal program has been finished to satisfactory results, including all roads on the supplied schedule. So we did do the crack seal 100%. We didn't line any roads off it there. Spot ditching projects were completed on Robinwood Lane, Thorpe Road, and Bartholomew Road. Once again, we're whittling down the residential requests. They are trickling in. I have a couple more that we're taking care of, but I think we got less than 10 still right now on the books. Roadside mowing continued into early August and will be done again prior to winter service, where we set the sides of the roads again prior to winter. Storm damage and downed trees were cleaned up around the township in several locations due to the August 24th, 25th weather events. As with all major events, resident requests pour in and logged and addressed according to priority. And my guys did work with you and...
Thank you very much. Everybody did a great job in keeping the roads opened up and for us to get through if we had an emergency. We were quite busy for the next 12 hours.
Right, yeah. And unfortunately, I was out of town with a family issue, and I wasn't here then, but I heard that my guys took care of it. And
Yeah, I called them, they came right out and did a good job of working with them and stayed in touch with one another, and we took care of some of them, they took care of some of the other ones.
Yeah.
Most of the bad ones that we needed the loader on.
Right. And then we did go out after that and clean up the debris on the roadsides, which was taken care of. So. And that's one thing, as you know as well, it's opening the roads first, get emergency services through, then we come back over the course of successive days and get the branches and stuff. 25-mile-per-hour signs were replaced on Orange Lane, White Oak Drive, and Sanctuary Drive, as well as a 45-mile-per-hour sign replaced on Quinn Road. Now, I don't know what they're doing out there, but they're taking the entire post and sign. So, and as Dale Ryan experienced over at the tractor sign on Stafford there, and we're putting the posts in good, they're pulling them out with something. So these signs are just disappearing. So typically used to be the sign which was aluminum, but you can't scrap them anymore because you need official letterhead from the township to get rid of them. But now they're taking the posts and the signs. So. But these are documented in our sign inventory as well, which through retirement we're required to keep. With Gene, you sat in that meeting with us. So that's all up to date. Other than that, that's all I got.
Okay. We got a truck out for maintenance.
Pardon?
We got a truck out for repairs.
We have 19 that's going out. Yeah, that's going to be towed out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's with that warranty issue with that fuel delivery there.
They're gonna cover that.
Yeah,
We gotta pay the tow.
we got to pay the tow, which has been typical around the $400 to $500 range to get those out there. And then after 19, we do have the ABS on truck 15, which will go up to Lake Truck Cerny's.
And as of now, that's it, and then we're looking at fall or winter.
Yes.
Any questions for Emmerich Gordon regarding roads? Thank you again, Emmerich. We'll move along with our regular reports. We'll start over at the other end there with Mike Troy.
Okay, just a couple things. One, we had the first responders ceremony at the football game on Friday, and we had some firefighters from Auburn were there this year. We had Bainbridge Police, Bainbridge Fire, and so that was just to honor all the firefighters and policemen who put their lives on the line pretty much on a daily basis for us, so I appreciate anyone that showed up for that. And Nancy gave me this. Kiwanis Club of West Geauga, not to be confused with West Geauga High School, but West Geauga County, are having a helicopter golf ball drop on Sunday. I guess the way this works, you pay, how much the price is, $20 per golf ball. They're going to drop all the golf balls out of a helicopter onto the fairgrounds, and they got a spot down there, and your golf balls will all be marked, and the golf ball that gets closest then wins the grand prizes. So, now, the only reason I mention that is, in order to help get that out, Kiwanis is going to be joining us at our community picnic and selling corn, buttered corn, and just help get the word out because this is the following day. So,
I'm just gonna watch it with my drone.
if I send a stupid drone in there and steal it here, corn, cheapskate. And just to save all the decision making, That's going to happen later on. I know this is on the agenda, but we got $5,300.56 from Charter Communications, and I'd like to make a motion to transfer, put that into the Land Acquisition and Improvement Fund.
Well, for now, I'll second that.
Discussion?
We're gonna have one later.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes. Okay, that was it.
Okay. Number one, Buckeye Excavating has finished their phase 3 of the retention pond over at the park. That'll accommodate the additional runoff from the parking lot upgrade. All the necessary mulching and seeding has been done. The majority of the boards are now in. I think there's 8 left to be done. They should be done this week. The large flagpole has been repaired and new flag has been hung. The smaller flagpole will be removed and restrung by the road department. The Don May volleyball courts at Adam Hall have been topped with new sand, and play has continued throughout the summer every Thursday evening. The new generator at Adam Hall performed as intended during the 24th and 25th weather events, so we're good there. And many of you, if you went by 44 in our cemetery down here, you saw work being done. We had mentioned at the last meeting that the stone huggers were coming in from out of state to work on stones. They were there most of the week. I think they had close to 50 of the stones done, and a bill should be forthright. I think we broke that down to 25, 25, and 25. And I stopped and looked at some of the stones. They did a very nice job.
Doesn't look like
straighten them up.
they did.
So that's all I have. And once again, thank you for making me look good.
Do you want to please mention that with the sand for those volleyball courts, how we nearly had, we were online to pay for what, $400 per ton for sand for a minute there?
Yeah, for a minute.
Go ahead, fill us briefly. Go over that, what you remember. It was a new vendor we found too, if you're...
Yeah, that was a
The
new
Best Sand was the one who they wanted us to pay cash for it.
cash.
They wouldn't take a check or anything else, and we had to pay cash in advance.
Is our credit that bad?
And they were just an astronomical amount of money, so.
We never deal with them. This is special sand for the court, and wasn't it between $200 and $400 per ton they were looking at?
It was a crazy amount. The
Yeah,
initial one that we
crazy.
got a hold of was almost $18,000.
Yeah, it was insane what they
And I think we
did.
put in for 7 or something like that. Then I can't remember what the requisition was. But I think all in all, in the end, we paid $1,760, $1,760 bucks.
Yeah. And a new vendor out of Northfield.
Right. It just depends which volleyball expert sand company you purchase.
Well, I want to thank you.
Yeah, it was about a tenth of the cost of.
Yeah, I want to thank you and Nancy for shopping around, because that would have been painful to bear that kind of money.
It would have been better to pave it and turn it into a pickleball court.
Would have been cheaper. All right, any questions for Emmerich? Thank you very much, Emmerich.
Oh, that was Gene.
That was Gene, that's right.
Right
back. What else do you got then, Gene?
That's it. Thank you.
Just a few things here. One is reflecting back on the last meeting when the, maybe misnamed, but I still have, I'm still impressed with their efforts here for this Auburn Arts District or Council, whatever they're going to end up going by. Their weekend of coordinated events is this weekend. I don't have their website handy right here in front of me, but I would like to make note of that if anybody's interested in following up on what they're trying to do. That was Sherry Bailey and Morris Wine and a few other people that I was impressed with there. They bring up like, civic organizations, and we used to have them. We got to thinking about that. We used to have the JCs, had the community club, going back for, Ladies Cemetery Auxiliary back before then. There was lots of stuff going on here, and now there's nothing. But this is, they're kind of organizing around a thing, and they're just kind of bringing back something that's been gone for 20-some years. I was impressed.
If you stick around long enough, everything seems to go in cycles, and we went through this cycle lately where people are not interested in it. As I had mentioned, the Bainbridge Ladies Club has been there forever. They disbanded because of lack of interest and what have you, but You're right, PJ, I agree with you 100%. This is something good, and
Give them do their website.
their website is www.auburnartsdistrict.com. And as PJ had mentioned to them that night, is that if you are a district, you are usually run by the political entity. So we asked them that it would probably be better to change their name to an association or what have you versus a district. Right, I agree with PJ. I think this is a very good thing, very nice thing.
The other thing is Western Reserve Land Conservancy does, I think it's twice a year still, a stewardship trip through the park over here, and they're scheduled for September 15th.
Oh, boy.
What's that? Say that again?
They come visit the park.
The walk around? Because I did it last year. We
Yeah.
walked out
Oh, yeah.
from the outer
Yeah.
thing of the whole park.
Yep.
You about killed me.
I've done it several times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure you have something to walk.
Yeah, jeez, oh man.
Early on, we would have like four-wheeler trails going through there and the occasional bonfire. That's not happening anymore. They've all been
And they're gonna walk through when?
the day before the party, the day before the picnic up there, so.
Did he ask for anybody to walk with him, or?
They usually do, they don't always.
All right, I was just saying, last year they
They
asked,
let us
and I walked
know,
with
yeah,
them.
they let us know, and I've done it several times. I just thought
Is
it
it the
was
same guy that always does it?
Shane.
Shane, yeah, okay.
Shane.
What's the purpose?
It's mandatory part of
Our deal,
our
where
deal with them. They do this with every piece of property.
they just wanna make sure nobody's encroaching on our property.
As I said, they were looking for four-wheeler trails early before.
Well, there was one guy here on Auburn that had his stack of firewood a little on that property.
Yeah, there was.
Stuff like
on
that.
one, the guy on one. It's a maintenance thing, it's just part of the agreement. Early on, they were looking for stuff, we didn't have anything going on at the time, so people were still using it as, it had been prior.
Well, if you let me know, I'll walk with them.
Yeah, well, that'll be the day before the party, so. That's all I have.
Yeah, you could probably do that a lot easier with a drone.
Everything else is on the agenda. So what do you have, Dan?
Processed 19 warrants, total $386,438.58. I have one resolution. This is so we can pay the people doing the cemetery monument restoration.
Yeah.
We had I'll try to summarize this. There's a lot of therefores and whatnots in here, but, we agreed to take the money donated from the church and move it from the general fund into a new fund. So our prior resolution, 2023-26, you gave approval to set up a new fund, one for the museum, one for the cemetery. This resolution pertains just to the cemetery. And in order to get the money over so we could pay the vendor, I had a piecemeal from 6 other funds or accounts that we had already appropriated money for, so I could get that money transferred. So we're taking this resolution asks to reallocate funds for interfund transfer to pay for cemetery monument restoration. $2,000 reallocate appropriation from rents and leases, $1,110,321. $5,000 reallocate from contracted services in the general fund, $1,110,360. $5,000 from $1,110,599 other expenses. $5,000 from $1,123,60 contracted services. $5,000 from $1,130,150 zoning compensation, and $5,000 reallocation from $1,760,730 improvement of sites. That money will get reallocated to $1,910,910, which is a transfers out account, And then those funds totaling $27,000 will be transferred to the special revenue 2902-931 transfers in, which will then be reallocated to the special revenue cemetery fund account 2902-410-329 other property services, and that will allow me to allocate those funds and this will appropriate the money to that cemetery fund so we can pay the vendor.
Yep.
So there's just a lot of steps I'm finding out to get this done in the UAN. Now, because we don't have enough money available in the general fund, at this fiscal year, I'll have to appropriate the balance to the balance of the monies to the cemetery fund, and then the full $75,000 to the museum fund next year. Because I don't foresee us spending any of it this year.
Motion to approve.
Second?
PJ?
Yes.
Gene?
Yes.
Mike? And that's all I have.
Question, Dan?
Yes.
Okay, the last item under new business, the withdrawal of tax levy
We're
issued
getting
from the
it, we're
ballot.
getting it, we're getting that.
Are we,
Oh, we're getting there.
oh, we're getting there? It was just that these were all spilled together, it was like,
Yeah, we're
they
getting to
must
that.
be related.
Well, this one, the one I just read isn't on here. That's
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
related.
probably that one
It's not
fine.
related. Okay, Nancy, I talked to her late this afternoon, and she had intended to get some details towards that NOPEC energizing grant. She did not, due to some other things coming up today. So that will remain on the agenda for old business next meeting. The speed study on Taylor May that we took action on at the last meeting, we requested a speed study along Taylor May from Auburn Road to Ravenna Road. And after we passed that along to the engineer's office, they suggested that we increase that project to the full length of Taylor May, right? Or Taylor May to Munn,
It would be from 44 to Munn.
44 to Munn.
Right, from
But
Munn.
not
from
the
Munn
west
to-
end then?
Right.
Into Banbridge. Okay.
Right, from Munn to 306 is 40 miles per hour now.
Okay, all right.
And,
We're 45 then from Munn east.
correct,
So that's why we're gonna look at the entire length.
Right.
Makes sense. And this, I guess they're going to get to it this fall. So, do we have a letter or a resolution, or, I know I want to vote on this tonight to expand that study.
I don't think we need to, I think based on the conversation that Mr. Woodcock and I had, that they were just gonna go ahead and do that.
All right,
To
well, the
increase the-
formality, let's vote it, because we did this last time.
Right, right.
So, just for the record here.
And use what language does he
I
have
will.
there to extend the,
So I want to make a motion to extend the western limit of the study to Munn Road. And this is for Taylor May Road. That's a motion.
Second.
Go ahead.
PJ?
Yes.
Gene?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Sign that. No, I don't have it.
Let's see, you did the franchise fees. All right. I get a phone call in Giant Eagle at 5:30 from the prosecutor's office a week ago Monday, which was never good news. There's been the discovery, or the uncovering of a clerical error in one of our 4 road levies. The paper trail kind of ends in 2015. Obviously, this is something that's escaped the attention of several entities, including the Ohio Department of Taxation, the Geauga County Auditor's Office, and the Geauga County Board of Elections, who have this on the ballot this fall when there's no clear record of that levy being renewed at any point since 2015. Therefore, it's not eligible for a renewal vote. So after a week's worth of conversations with the prosecutor's office, she recommends that we take action to remove that renewal request. Resolution to rescind resolutions 2023-22 and 2023-24, and to withdraw tax levy issue from the ballot this coming November. The board previously had adopted those two resolutions, 2023-22 and 2023-24, to renew a 1 mil levy for the purpose of general construction, reconstruction, repair of streets, roads, and bridges in the township pursuant to RC 5705.19G. And the board finds it necessary to withdraw this issue from the November 7th, 2023 general ballot. Therefore, be it resolved, the board hereby rescinds resolutions 2023-22 and 2023-24, and further directs the township fiscal officer to immediately inform the Geauga County Board of Elections that the board withdraws this levy from the November 7th, 2023 general election ballot. I'm going to have to regretfully make that motion.
So moved.
Discussion?
So when we do put it back on, when we ever decide to put it back on, it'll have to go on as a new levy, right?
It would be on as a new levy. It would be up to this board and, working with the road department and engineer's office to determine the need for that. What we're going to lose out on collection for a year will be approximately $265,000. And that's based on the original passage of that levy. So I think that was it 05, Emmerich? I think that was originally in 05, renewed in 10, renewed in 15, and after that the paper trail vanishes. And that's why we're doing what we're doing.
It's just interesting that you read off all those entities that were involved in this situation. And not one of them caught it, not one.
Not until now. The township does not, we're not the tax collector. That we spend the funds that were due from inside millage and from voted millage. But what I just mentioned, the Ohio Department of Taxation ultimately controls the collection of these levies. And then that goes from that level of government down to the county, which is the auditor, who certifies these amounts. Some of you may remember that there was some turmoil in that county office back in 2018. Don't know if it got caught in the laundry there. I don't know. There's more questions than answers in this right now, but what we found is...
Theoretically, it would have been due in 20.
Yeah, it should have been done in 20.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
we had...
Keeping in mind, that was the peak
Pandemic.
of the pandemic. That's when everybody was going with all the remote the meetings, and so...
Now, we were following advice from other entities, the Township Association, to attempt to renew our levies early. There was a spell that we were doing that. I think 2018 fits into there, 2019. What we were doing, if we renewed something early, without the complete language, we were cutting off the last year of collection of that previous renewal and starting the cycle over. Now, it was not our intention, but that's what we did a couple times.
Well, ultimately, what we were trying to do is we had 5 levies, and to have...
Four levies.
Four levies?
5 mills before levies, yeah.
Okay. and we wanted to have each of them.
I still think it's a good idea to give the voters a chance to have a say every year. I still think that's a good idea. I'd rather have that than one big 5 mil levy that we, grit our teeth and hope passes every 5 years. I would much prefer the voters have a continuing say in what we're doing and if we're doing it right. However, something went off the rails here. As I said, the paper trail just ends on that levy in 2015. And yeah, those as Gene brought up, Ohio Department of Taxation missed on this, and the auditor's office as well. And can't blame the Board of Elections on any tax collection thing, that's not their deal.
We also
But
had issues with
We also,
our,
we
fiscal
worked,
officer.
we worked real close, and we had fiscal officer issues, that's correct. That's correct as well. A pretty bad storm, if not the perfect one, anyway. Board of Elections, had this been caught prior to the filing deadline for this fall, we could have quickly fixed this. Didn't get caught until last Monday.
Who caught it?
I believe it was our Board of Elections looking for that paper trail, and there was never, because it states in these resolutions that we passed that was most recently renewed in 2018. And it wasn't. In one of these two resolutions here, the ones that we've mentioned in this overriding resolution. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Our road program needs to be funded to the level we've been at. Emmerich took this on immediately head on once we knew what we were looking for. And there's some options, some things we can do that we're going to let smoke settle, or the dust settle on this, and we'll come back and revisit those as a board. And Dan, we need you, you work with you on this as well, because the pennies are going to be pinched. But yeah, we're going to have to come back at some point with a similar millage, another 1 mil. It would be a different evaluation now from 2005, or a smaller levy to match the cash, to match the financial.
Yeah, if we know exactly what the dollars are.
That can be done. That can
Yeah.
be done. That's what we're going to be doing as soon as this gets hashed out.
Guys, one fly in the ointment, there's is it a 6-year reevaluation coming up?
3 to 6. It's 3 to 6. Yeah.
Yeah, which, I guess, doesn't portend real well for...
Well, this is
taxpayers.
early on. Yeah, this is early on, and if we and I'm just without doing any math. If say we went for 3/4 of a mil, and that brings in $265,000, that would essentially be not a tax increase. That would essentially, that's what I'm getting at here.
It lowers the millage.
It
Lowers the
millage.
millage, yeah, to
match the dollars that we would have expected to get in
Yeah.
on this.
And my first thought, that's just a first thought on this.
Yeah.
Now that we're all living in $3 million homes,
Well, I think the expectation is that a lot of voters are going to be caught off guard and
I think without a doubt that's true.
caught under the lion's paw when the new tax bills, well,
No question,
yeah, yeah.
no question.
But that's something we're going to be dealing with
Yeah.
in the very near
Yeah,
future.
it's just-
For tonight, we have a motion and a second on this resolution 2023-30 in regards to the withdrawal of the renewal levy.
Wow.
So you want to call for a
EJ.
vote? Yes.
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Wow.
All right, more to come on that, for sure.
Yeah. Wow.
Well,
like Mike said, you want to talk about the perfect storm. They had a problem in the auditor's office, we had a problem in our office, pandemic, I mean,
Oh, hell with problems. Oh, my God.
certainly, we don't want to make excuses, but
I mean,
It
the
is what
last
it is.
5 years have
Yeah.
been more than a perfect storm. They've been a nightmare on many different fronts.
absolutely.
Well, it's more than what I had missed it, so you weren't alone.
No, we weren't.
Is
And there's a
any-
lot more information coming on this.
Is any other township or entity, a local entity, going to be,
I think that's being looked at real hard right now. I haven't
Your what?
heard, I think that's being looked at real hard right now. I
Oh.
haven't heard anything yet, but, yeah, that's,
so okay. This could wind up being many entities.
it could, but
Right.
we're the canary in the coal mine, so.
Wow. With a letter A. Education.
All right, at the end here, I'm gonna just, because I was fond of their presentation, mention that the arts group is doing their joint festivals around town this weekend. If you see something going on, I'm sure they'd like to have you visit, and then they're gonna come set up a table or some display at our thing on the 16th. Which we're looking forward to. Commission will be here next week. All right, anybody else? Anything else, Mike?
Grand Bay coming up on the 23rd. Resale tickets need to be in by the 17th.
Oh, okay.
By the 17th.
Yeah. So get yours in. $37 a bag and $15 for an extra dozen.
By the 17th, so day before our next meeting. Okay,
Right.
all right. How much again? I missed that.
37 for a bag and then 15 for extra clams. Dozen extra clams.
Youngster menu, hot dogs and chips, $4.
Okay, anything else? Going once and then twice. All right, look for a motion.
Kudos to Dan for showing up at the fair. You represented you well. I saw you sneak from my gate.
Oh, at the county townships.
Oh, yeah.
I went by and saw him, he looked like a little orphan boy sitting there all by himself.
Not at my gate.
You could have set up in my tent, I think you'd have seen more of our people.
Probably.
We'll make a motion to
Thanks,
adjourn.
Dan. I'll second.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes. It's been a long week.
It's a very solid meeting.
Jeez.
My apologies if you guys were there. I didn't see you guys then.